Look, just the only dream, then I found my purpose. Walking in it, ain't no monkey business every time I surface. Go on models twerking, know that bottle service. Good and faithful servant when he call it curtains.
Boom, so we got this boy Devin in here. Again, he's gonna want a burst fade. You guys can you guys already see kind of the differences in between his burst fade and this one? Like you guys kind of see the difference between like how far I bring it back down here, how the V is in the back, the way that his hair is sitting on his burst fade. And then I see a lot of people too that really struggle because the sides of their burst fade be hanging all the way over. And like sometimes that looks cool, like depending on if you're trying to do a disconnected like a burst fade versus like a one that's like attached. But like everything I want to do, I want it to flow. I want it to look good. I want it to have movement. I want his hair not to be super, super flat. Once I come in here and style it, I'll kind of show y'all. And then, but one thing that I pride myself on is grow out. Like it's probably been what, about like 3 weeks since I've cut your hair-ish? Maybe a little less? No, about probably been 3. So a little under a month. But like my biggest thing is here. There's not a whole bunch of weight here. You see a little bit of clipper over comb, but that's really it. Everything that I'm doing, I set a foundation in because I want it to be as easy as possible when my client comes back in my chair so I don't have to take longer than I need to. I don't need to rework everything. I don't need to go back in and set in whole new shape into his hair. I just need to go and just clean up everything. So normally what I do for him, most of the time, like at this link, he's not going to want anything off the top. But for your guys' purposes, I'm going to show you what I do and kind of how I do that to make sure that this top looks good, it's flowing right, and how to work around the crown, work around all the sections in the front, how to connect the sides to the top, and how to make sure that we cut the bangs and make sure that everything flows and goes smoothly together. So on white people or straight hair, I shouldn't say white people because I know a lot of white people with curlier hair than me. But on straight hair, I always go in first and I cut the top. I do it on most black people too, but I'll cut the top and then I start with getting it wet. You guys, I'm sure you guys know all your doll heads were saturated when you were cutting it. So it's like when you guys come in, just saturate the hair. When you're using your shear work, everything comes down to the hair being saturated because you can get an even cut. You can see how everything's laying and everything's going to come and fall flat. Because if you got a client that's been wearing a hat all day, and you try and cut it dry, it's not gonna lay exactly how it's supposed to lay. So most of the time, if they come in with hat hair, I'm gonna wash your hair. I'm gonna make sure that it gets washed, so everything is going to lay exactly how I want it to, so I can get it into the placement that I need it to be to make my life easier. And you guys see how that just lays perfectly there. You guys can see that shape that I already had in here, so I'm just following those guidelines here. And you got the same thing on this side too. I'm following the shape around the side. And I'm making sure that all that looks even and that's looking good. So I'm gonna pump him up a little bit more. Then we're gonna get to it. So first thing I do is I take a mohawk section down the middle, which is what a lot of you guys probably do. How'd you guys cut your pompadours? How'd you guys take your sectionings? Do you guys know? From the back? You started in the back? And then worked your way forward? Okay, so that's one way to do it too. So if you're doing like more of a pompadour, like a faux hawk style, everyone's gonna do this different. I know a lot of people that just like will take half and just go up and cut and use that side as a guideline to match the other side. But what I wanna do is I wanna create a guideline that's going from the back to the front. So I wanna make sure that it's even because I want this hair all to be symmetrical. And I mean, when you pull the hair up, I want his bangs longer. I want these to come down, so it's going to be almost be a triangle section because it's going to do this. It's going to be longer up here to create more weight up front. It's going to be shorter here to create less weight. So do you guys know that short hair will push long hair or long hair pushes short hair, kind of? So when this hair is going to be too long, it's going to weigh down that hair and it's not going to texture how you want it to texture. So what I want to do is I want to create it short to long so this short hair can push the long hair forward. And that's how he styles it. So that's another big thing that you have to ask when you start cutting hair like this is how do you style it? Do you want it more high maintenance? Do you want it more low maintenance? I'd say your style is more low maintenance. Your style is more low maintenance. He has more of a high maintenance style. You do too because you have curly hair, so you probably have to put product in it, come through it, make sure everything's sitting right. So it's like how they cut it is what you need to ask because how you cut it is dictating how they're going to style it, and how they style it dictates their lifestyle. If I have a blue-collar guy that wakes up and throws a hat on every day, do you think I'm going to give him a pompadour haircut? No. Like, it's just like that wouldn't make sense, because then I have to sit there with the blow dry for 10 minutes every morning after he got out of the shower. He doesn't want to do that. So now I'm taking this section here, and you guys see, like, throughout here, how this is falling out, because this hair is all for his bangs. And I honestly want this to almost be disconnected in a sense, because I'm going to go in and I'm going to cut the bangs, because I want to leave some weight there. I want to make sure that everything looks good, how it flows good, and you can see the differentiation between this hair. Now, when I comb this up, you guys will start to see how it gets shorter, and it's coming down and shorter towards that back. You see how that's already there? Made it easy on myself. That's how I cut it. I know how I'm going to cut it again, and why would I make it any harder than it needs to be? And then you get to the crown area, and all of that is going to start to flow. But as you see here, as you over direct, it's going to create a different length. So everything you got to think about is how you're over directing the hair, where you're pulling the hair, where do you want it to sit, how are they going to style it. So this is going to be messy. So honestly, like if you're using a messier style, it doesn't have to be quote unquote perfect, but I'll show you what I do to make sure I texturize that so it does. So I'm going to start my first guideline in here. So I got my hair. I'm looking at this. I take a very small portion of this front so I can match it with everything else. They say don't cut past your second knuckle. I have the scars to tell you. Probably don't do that just because you're going to cut yourself. I've done it 100,000 times. So I'm going to start here, and this is going to be my guide. And I'm angling my hands how I want this to be cut. Everything, your body line, your positioning, the way you're standing, all of that matters when you're using your shears. So I'm standing here, I want to go straight up, but now I want this to be at an angle. So I'm taking my comb and I'm creating that angle with my comb. And now that's sitting at the angle I want it. I don't want it to be drastic. I don't want it to be like, I really don't want it to look like this. I just want it to be something subtle like that, because that's still going to maintain that length on top. That's going to make sure that everything is smooth, and that's going to make sure that everything is going good together. Now, one of the tricky parts for a lot of people is, what do you do around the crown? What I do is I find that this is how his crown section wants to go. Well, where does this want to lay? So I made my life easy on myself. I combed it out and I separated it already. This hair wants to lay this way, because when I comb it this way, look, it's sticking up. So that means you don't want to go against the hair, because then you're going to make notches in the hair that you don't want to use. So I'm going to section out this crown area, and you guys see his swirl right here. So that's what you want to work with. You want to make sure that you're working with the swirl instead of against it. So I can start doing this way or the other way, but everything matters is on your body position. I like to work on the left side of my clients because I am left-handed. So then now I'm sitting here and I'm like, okay, well, this wants to be even with the back, so how do we get there? You literally just match them and follow all the way down. So now I have this, and I'm just going to cut this even all the way through. I'm going to go back in, make sure everything's smooth. And then through here is when a lot of people will start messing up, because they're going to start like taking this and then just start chopping, and then they're going to get all this other hair in here that's over here. And now if I'm cutting like this hair's now over-directed. So now it's going to be a different length than what I really want it to be. So you want to take some pretty clean sections. So I'm going to comb this all back down. I still see my section. I leave it like this on purpose, so I still have that guide. I can still see where I'm working. And I'll take it here. And I like to do it like this. I like to go in with my palm and follow out, because now I have a direct angle in line with my body. I'm not breaking my hand. I can literally sit here and do this. And my wrist isn't being broken. It's not hurting. Or you can do it like this. There's two different ways. You can pull out, but this is more strain on my shoulder. And you can come in and cut like this, which is less strain on this wrist. But it's just whatever really is comfortable for you guys, because you got to think, you're doing this all day. So whatever you guys can make most comfortable. I like to keep my hands as close to my body as possible. And now I have that guide, and I just start chopping. And now I'm keeping this pretty clean. There's a couple hairs outside. And now I have this line here. And what I want to do is I honestly want to like texture this down. So then with that texture, it's going to create that fluidity and that flow between it. And you can see here, like these links aren't all like quote unquote perfectly even. Like there are going to be like some longer hairs here and some shorter hairs here. And I want that, because that's going to create visual texture. And so I'm literally just going to follow that guide all the way down. And what you can even do here too is, if you have a feather razor, you can use a feather razor instead of your scissors. If you guys really, do you guys know what a feather razor is by chance? Yeah? Hell yeah. Yeah. They didn't or did? Yeah. R.I.P. Home and down. So now, with his hair, it makes it really easy because I cut this shorter, and you see how that took the weight out of this specific area? See how, you guys see how now this weight is all falling down like this, and you can see how this is not as heavy as it is here? Now that's perfect. So now what I want to do is I want to start on one side versus the other. So now I see my guideline. I'm sectioning this out over to this direction so I know where everything's going to lay. Now again, his hair's starting to dry out. So what do we want to do? Grab it again and get it saturated. I want to make sure the hair is saturated the entire time because it makes my work line very even, very clean. And the direction that I'm going to go with this haircut is now easier to see. And sometimes, I'm not a short king, but it makes it easier when they're a little bit lower. And then so again, I don't want these bangs to be thin. So I'm gonna pull those out, and you can almost take like a V section out of here. Now, because I want this to be thick, I want to work within these parameters because I want the bangs to not inherently be completely detached, but to stay full because I'm gonna cut those with 0 elevation on his face to make sure they're as thick as possible. But now this is where all the fun techniques come in. I'm sure you guys have all seen like point cutting as well. And you guys, now you have 2 points. You have 2 points of reference. You have this point and you have this point over here, which is your guide. Now I don't want to cut this all the way down to this point because I want to have a little bit more length involved. So I'm going to see where I'm at and I'm going to set up with a little bit of a higher point. And these peaks are as long as the length of the hair is going to be. So I'm cutting here, I'm cutting here, cutting here, cutting here. Now you would think those peaks and then those really short sections are where most of that hair is going to sit. But the length of this hair will be at the highest point, which will be this peak. So yes, you're cutting these notches in here, but the length will be at the highest point because that's what the majority of the hair is going to fall to. So now I just comb over and then I find the other guide. Have you guys ever mowed a lawn before? You know how you kind of go over, like you mow your first strip and then you still have a wheel in that other strip that you had? Same thing. Same thing with your guides here. So like I still have a little bit of my front guide in there so I can see a little bit of these notches. And again, I know where I want to start and I know where I'm trying to land and I know where I'm trying to sit here. And then now, again, you have your peaks, you have your highest point, and you have the differentiation between hair. And that's going to create texture so it doesn't lay as flat. And that's exactly how you explain it to your client. Oh, you want texture? Here's what I'm going to do for you. And then you can also frame it as, a lot of barbers don't do this, so the reason I'm going to do this is because of this. So, and then that's another thing. A lot of people like to be taught. A lot of people want to know what their barber's doing. A lot of people want to learn. A lot of people want to make sure that everything's just going smooth for them and they're getting something that's different. And then I'm literally just going to follow that all the way through the entire cut. But then I'll show you what I do once I get to the back. The crown area, I go right to about the apex of his head. I'm still doing the same thing here. And now we get to the fun part. The back. So now I have all this weight within here. And the question is now what do I want to do with this? I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to take a piece of this section just like I'm mowing a lawn and work with it and take a quarter of it into each section so I can see my guide. And who said that they struggled to like kind of keep their guide? Who was that? That was you? So like my biggest thing is like, okay, well you see this here? You now have your guide. Can you kind of see how there's a guide here underneath all of these hairs? Like, so now it's like, okay, this is the long hair. My guide's right here. I can see it because I took a little bit of that last section and I carried it over to this spot. So now I see this guide. Now all this in between here has got to go. So it's just chop and follow that guide down. And it makes it really simple too, because if you stay clean, if you stay working within those parameters, it's going to make it really easy for you to see like where you messed up or where you need to go back. Like, and it's super simple. Because like now I have this guide at the bottom too, and I'm just matching everything to that. I don't want that too big. And you want to take sections that aren't too big either, because you want to make sure that you're not over directing that hair too much, or else it's not going to be where it's supposed to be. It's going to create layers in different lengths that you don't inherently want. And now you see how this guide is traveling with me, because that's called a traveling guide I set in. Now all of this is starting to blend, and now you have that a lot lighter in that area. Now what should happen is it should be even way across all of this. And when I come in, again, now I can drop a little bit of that other guide. Can find this one. And like, if you guys can come see, like, you literally can see that guide within that hair. It's here and here and here. And it's like, I'm just following that. I'm taking a section with it, and I'm following that guide with me. And I'm not trying to cut too much hair off, because like I said, he kind of still wants to keep his hair long. He still wants to maintain a bit more of that length, so everything's still flowing together.
Can you explain to them how important it is to keep that hair wet?
Yeah.
What is probably helping him keep things from
Yes, because as soon as, like, I blow the, I'll show you once I'm done. Like, once we get to, like, the styling point, because, like, if I blow dry it, you'll see how hard it is to make sure that that guide's there, because the hair is thin. It's literally running from you. Like, it's almost harder to keep in your fingers, you know? So, like, even now, it's like, I'm just going to come back in. Like, the bottom of that's not as saturated, but it takes 2 seconds to keep that saturated. And, like, his hair, if you look at his hair, it's all even. And I didn't have to do really none of that, because I picked it out. So it's like those two different techniques are something that you have to understand. It's like the different types of hair you're going to have are going to take different things. But now you can still see, like, this is still like coming in and almost thinning out, because you're taking that weight off. But now it's like, okay, I still know where I'm at. Like, in my head, I know exactly where I'm at. I know exactly what placement I'm at. I know exactly where I need to be. And you'll see me do that really quick. So I'm carrying that over here, and it's like, boom, I see my two guides. I see my guide going all the way through. I'm just following that down. And again, I'm going to do the same thing over here. Make sure that I'm not taking too. And you see how clean those sections are? Like, it's not like I'm not doing too much. Like, I'm not near as good as some of my teachers, like at like European style haircuts. I'm not saying I know everything about it, but this is just what's kind of helped me get to where I'm at right now. And this is what's taking me to the place that I need to get to, is understanding that these are just those little techniques that'll help you. Like, like you guys said, I'm trying to get better at scissor work, so I'm taking more courses to get better at it, because I'm not even where I want to be. But the same thing is just understanding that you got to follow your guides. You got to make sure you keep everything clean and concise. Again, the guide's here. I need to cut in between it, make sure everything is falling exactly where I need it to be. And then I want you guys to come up and see how this is falling into place. Now, this is where a lot of people will start putting holes, because now look, like, prime example, I lost my guide right here. Like, you don't see a guide anymore except this line. But if I continue to cut that, it's like I don't have my guide. Well, okay, so you lost your guide, right? Well, go back and look. You see all this weight right here? And then you guys see how there's no weight here? Well, that means my guide is here. Like, my guide's somewhere over here. So you can just start working your way back into that to try and find that. Okay, well, I know this is going to be one of my guides. That's all even. That's all even. That's all even. That's all even. Oh, shoot. I found where it's stopping, like, not as even anymore. Okay, well, that means that there's excess hair. That's exactly where I need to be. So now it's like, okay, boom. I come in here. I find it. Now you see how I found my guide already? Like, it's just going back to work through it again. You don't got to start over. Just go back to where you started. And it's like, okay, well, now I found that guide. I went back to where I started. Now I know exactly. Need to cut, and then you just cut the difference. And I always like to tell people, it's like, don't overcomplicate it. Like, keep it as simple as you possibly can, so you can generate an outcome that is going to be beneficial. Because the more you jumble up stuff, and the more you're trying to do multiple things at once, and if you're trying to fade and then the fade doesn't look good, then you're going back to try and cut the top in the middle of you trying to fade, it's messy again. Like I said at the beginning of this, it's not going to be organized. It's not going to sit how you want it to sit. It's not going to flow how you want it to flow. It's going to be very messy, very hard to know where you're at. It's not going to be exactly how you want it to be, and you're not going to generate an outcome that's going to be very beneficial. And then you see here, now I'm starting to get around like the parietal ridge and where I'm trying to like connect this. So I want to make sure that I don't take this too short because I still want to keep some weight here. But I want to make sure that it's still even and it's still flowing. And I am over directing this hair a little bit now because I want to build weight. I don't want to take off that weight. I want to build the weight around here so it's going to make this pop, because if you guys can see how there's 2 designs in here already. So I want to make sure that those are going to pop once I do it, you know. And so now, if you guys can all see that right here versus this side, like you guys can see the weight difference in that. You can see how the fluidity of that hair is flowing. And you can see how now this all just like that just blends super good. And then this side still blends pretty good because the way I cut it and the grow, it's pretty good. But there's just so much more excess weight. And that's just what we need to make sure that we get rid of. And that's really all it is. This is more of like a maintenance haircut. Like I'm just putting you back in there and then just cleaning you up real quick. But one of the big things that a lot of people do too is like they struggle with this line within here. And there's 2 ways to go about this. You can either do a forward graduation, which, do you guys know what a forward graduation is? You guys like learned that yet? So like you have forward graduation where you can do it like there's like 4 different ways if you want to do it, but you have this, I'm graduating this forward, this is coming at an angle. And now this is what I always do to debulk it. So now I have my 2 points of reference. I have here, this is one of my guides, and then the lowest point here, which is one of my guides. Now you saw how much weight was there before, correct? Now I'm just going to come in, literally just going to match that. And you see how that softened up that one area right there? And I'm just going to continue to do the same thing all the way through. It's like guide, there's a point in the middle. See how that softened that up? And it's super easy, like, because it's like, oh my goodness, like that seems super hard, but now it's like it's there for you. You follow your guides, and it's going to make sure that you're everywhere that you need to be when you're trying to get there. Now, that softens that line up really, really well, because now I can come in here and I have a little bit of extra spot here. And you see all that? Exactly. So where you see that weight is exactly where you need to go. I want to keep a little bit of weight here because I want it to blend into the sides. But now I cut this a little bit, but now I want to cut this little point here so it blends in a little bit better. And now it's just understanding how to blend that, how to see that. And I can do the same thing on this back here. I don't want to take too much off because I created that weight for a reason. I just want to kind of blend it. And then you see how much that changed that versus this side right here. Like you see the difference. And now I don't have to do as much clipper over comb, and I don't have to worry about cutting into it with my clippers because I ain't got to do much. Now I just run my guard up there, run my clipper, I'm good. Because I'm sure the biggest thing y'all sitting here is like, damn, I got all this bulk. I got to keep going over it and over it and over it and over it. But now it's like, oh, I set myself up for success. And it's going to take me a quarter of the time to do this. His haircut takes me less time to do his haircut because it's like I can do like everything to set myself up better. Like when I cut his hair, like even when I cut the top, like it doesn't blend into the sides the same way that his blends into the sides. So it's like, well, now I have to understand that if I want to get this outcome with his specific hair, I got to do something to make sure that it blends together, and I'm saving my time in the meantime. As I'm going through it, I'm doing everything in the thought of, okay, time. Like every time like I'm checking my clock, even now, it's like, okay, well, I knew how long his was going to take. I'm glad I did him first. Now it's okay. Now I have to get his done. And you have to think about, okay, if I can do this, quote unquote, not faster, but more efficiently. You know what I'm saying? Because it's like sometimes you go really fast and it's not really that efficient because now you got to go back and you're cleaning up errors and stuff. And it's like, I can do this pretty well and be very meticulous, and I'll get it done faster than somebody who's sitting here like this and rushing. But my clients will never know if I'm rushing. I'm still sitting here talking to you, jabbing with you, and then they're done. And they're like, what the hell? Like, you're done already? And it's like, yeah, dude. I was like, I did what I needed to do. I was effective, and I got it knocked out. Now I'm going to do the exact same steps on the other side, the exact same steps. So I'm going to wet it down, make sure that everything's wet and saturated. I'm not going to cut the bangs yet. And then I'm still working with his growth patterns. But what I want to do is I need to take some of my guide. So we got this Lord Farquaad middle part going on right now. And I want to take some of this guide over here. So I'm going to take a small section. And I'm just going to pull that over. But now I still want to work with this crown. I still want to work with this, like the spiral that he has on the front or on the back. And see how that's all laying. I still have everything in my nice, neat sections. I have it combed over. I have it split. Now I'm going to do the same exact thing here. I'm going to take out most of his hairline until like that recession point, because I want that to be full. Then the exact same steps. Now, easy. You see the guide here, and you see the guide there. Same steps. Just come in, point cut. And now what's really cool, you pull this up. That's like almost identical. Make sure that everything flows. But now you see how all that weight's taken out of here and none of that weight's taken out of here. So that's why that matters, is because I saved myself so much time of doing clipper over comb by just taking out the weight in the beginning. The same thing. And then you guys know how to cross-check and all that stuff? Perfect. That's awesome. So I'll go back through and I'll show you like my cross-checking. But also I'll remember I'm point cutting this, so I don't want it to be even. That's what a lot of people don't get too, is like they'll come in and see like this haircut and I'll be like, oh, well, his hair's not even. And I'm like, oh, it wasn't supposed to be. I did that on purpose, you know? And something else I'm going to show you is another way of adding texture within his hair. And I don't ever really use thinning shears. Like sometimes, like if I'm doing like, if their hair's like really, really, really thick around here, and I'm doing like a freaking Edgar cut, you know what I'm saying? And like, it's like a blowout, almost like yours. Sometimes I'll taper it up and I'll go up with my thinning shears. But most of the time, I'm just going to use my normal shears and point cut, or like pull it up and like feather it in to my shears. So I don't know, I just like that aspect of it, and it's like, I don't think they're cheaters. I think they have a very, very good, like, beneficial purpose. And I think like once you master how to use them, like it can elevate your haircuts to the next level. And that's one thing I tell people all the time. And I mean, I'm sure you guys might talk to some old heads or talk to some barbers like, oh, bro, using all that stuff's cheating, bro. You're cheating. Nah, dude, you're in a creative field. Anything you want goes. Like, seriously, anything. If you cultivate an experience for your client and they absolutely love it and you didn't do it the traditional way and you still got paid and they're still coming back to you, you're obviously doing something right. You know what I'm saying? So it's like there's nothing to say that there's anything of cheating. It's just what's going to work best for you and what's going to create the desired outcome, and make sure that the grow out's good and make sure that everything is going to align with how you want it to align. Now it's the same thing. I'm finding this point and I'm getting right to that apex, and then this is laying down. Like you can kind of see where this hair starts to go different. So I literally go until it starts to fall down. So this hair is all wanting to go forward. This hair is all wanting to come back. And you can see, like you guys can literally see that. And so that's my guide on where his hair and his crown spins to where I want to start, then when I want to start coming to the back. Because a lot of people are like, well, when do you transition? You know what I'm saying? But now it's like, okay, well, I see this. It's pretty clear to me where I'm going to transition. And like, I'm glad I could kind of show you guys that, because like, it's super like relevant. Like his swirl's going this way, this is coming down, this is here. His hair's already naturally separating itself. So again, work with the hair instead of against the hair. You don't want to make the hair not go where it wants to go, or else it's going to stick up. That's why a lot of people are like, well, how do you work with cowlicks? How do you do this? How do you do that? I had a kid come in with 2 cowlicks on his hairline, cowlick on the back of his head, and I told his mom, she's like, well, what can we do with this? And I was like, you got 2 options here. Buzz it off or let me work my magic. And I was just like, okay, if you want to keep it longer, we got a lot of options that we can go. And she's like, well, everybody struggled with it. So I said, well, everybody's probably not worked with your cowlicks. They've worked against them. And she's like, well, yeah, they'll cut it really weird. And so it's like, when you section out your hair, you got to make sure that it goes where it wants to go, because it's like, if you don't, like even now, like I'm seeing, Like you see how this hair right here is standing up? That genuinely means that it's just not going where it needs to go. So I'm going to comb this up, and you can kind of see, like, if you comb the hair in the wrong direction, it's going to tell you where it wants to go. Like, I comb this back, that's not going to lay back as good as it needs to. When I comb it here, you see how flat that lays? Because that's where it wants to go. Like, and that's one thing that I always tell people. It's like, it's called a dummy check. This is just what I call it. It's like, I'll just go in here and I'll do this. It's like, okay, well, now I can see where this hair kind of wants to go. Where is it sticking up? Where is it not? How is it laying? Oh, this hair wants to go forward. This hair is looking like it might want to go back. Oh, does it? Yeah, it did. This hair wants to go forward. This hair wants to go back down. It's like, boom, you're done. And it all just started because I just call it dummy checking. I was just making sure that everything was where I wanted to go, because sometimes those hair, they're dummies, bro. They don't know what they're doing. They're just chilling. Like, so I make sure that makes sense. Now, I'm gonna kill you with this thing on accident. Mine's not in the same spot. But I'm gonna do the same exact steps on the back here, but I'm gonna do it the other way to kind of show you how I can do this 2 ways. And you can still follow your guides. So now, you see my guide on the back here? That's my guide. I can see that. I'm literally just gonna come up, follow that guide. And then the same thing here. Guide, follow that guide. And then see, this is where it gets tricky for me, because I don't like working around the neck like this, because then I got to try and get in here with my comb versus doing this. And that's just easy for me to do. And now I see that guide. Boom. And now you see how that's all flowing now? You see how all that weight's removed? Still got this weight. Same thing. I'm pulling in from my guide over here. I'm setting it up. You see my guide? And I just follow it. And then, easy enough, come back through on this side, find my guide. Lean down for me. Boom. Now this is all flowing and following that weight transition and the gradient, because I'm following the guide. The guide literally tells you everywhere that you need to be. And then I'm going to do the same thing over here. Now it's easier because the weight's just at the bottom, and my guideline's already here, so I already cut that. Because I'm working almost in a triangle. You know what I'm saying? You see how that was a diamond at the top? So I'm working in that section, and I'm coming through, and I'm just coming in and chopping that off. And then there you go. There's your guide again. Match it to the bottom. And boom. You're done here. You're done there. Let's check that. Make sure everything's flowing good. I have a little extra weight here that I don't want. It's sticking out a little bit more than I want. And I can even see I was a little off on my guide. Boom. Done. Done with the back. Now again, you can't forget where your steps are. You can't forget where you are. Now I got to go on this other side. I'm going to pump him up a little bit because this chair is kind of rough to move. Same thing. See all the weight compared to the other side? I'm going to do the same exact thing. I'm going to take forward graduation, and I'm going to match these points. But you see how my hand placement's different on the opposite side? I'm not coming over the top, I'm coming underneath. I'm just gonna do the same thing. Just come in, cut that. See how that softened that up already? Super, super simple. Do you guys have any questions so far? Because I've gone over quite a bit. Or is it pretty like self-explanatory?
Yeah, no, just follow it.
Yeah, like, and that's what I tell people all the time, because it seems super hard, but it really is just follow the guide. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, the guide will tell you everywhere that you want to be. And it's really easy once you set it up clean and you set it up concise. But I tell you, literally just do it on your dummies, on your doll heads as much as you can. Like create a haircut, like barely cut any, because the smaller you cut, the harder it is to differentiate between your guide and the cut. So if you can do it on maybe a 1/4 inch of a difference in hair, it's gonna make it a lot easier when you freaking take about 3 to 4 inches off. So like people are like, bro, you do transformations all the time, like isn't that hard? Nah, it's easier, bro. Because my guides are easier to follow because it's that like bigger differentiation between the two links. So then you can kind of see like, oh, well, now I see it, instead of it being like this is a smaller differentiation, because it's like this is like maybe a 1/4 inch ish, but it's like it's easy to see because this hair is thin and I'm working on the angles correct and it's coming in at this rate, and it's like, okay, well now I can see this. I see that this is my end line. Just cut that. And then that all kind of blends in there. And then now do you see how that kind of weight started to get reduced? But now I have this weight in here. You see that? I don't want that. And then boom. And then like this little weight line in here, that's all like just little stuff you can clip over a comb. Again, don't get too caught up in the details. But we're almost completely done with the top. Now the next thing we do, and the last thing I always do, is the bangs. Because I separated those out, and then he has them down here. And you see how full those are? Like you see how they're not really thin? Like, you know, sometimes when somebody comes up and starts cutting it, and then your bangs are just like, oh, this is a little thin, bro. Like, you know, if that ever happened to, like, you specifically, you probably had that happen more, just the way your hair's cut. And then maybe even you sometimes, like, if somebody comes in, they cut it wrong, you're just like, oh, there's a little gap there, it's a little thin. But now it's like, I'm going to come back in, same exact thing here. I'm going to saturate this. I'm excited. This is fun, y'all. I like this, bro. This stuff's good. And now I get to come back and comb through all that. And where do you kind of want your bangs to sit, Devin? He's like, look at the mirror. He said,
Just above my eyebrows?
Bet. Perfect. And that's what I use for frame of reference the majority of the time. I use eyebrows and forehead. Do you want it like in the middle of your forehead? Do you want it right below your eyebrows? Do you want it right above your eyebrows? Like, where do you kind of want this to sit? And now what you also got to think, his hair is going to shrink. So I always tell him, like, yeah, bro, we're going to cut it right on your eyebrows because obviously it's wet now. We've pulled it all out. Once it shrinks up, it'll sit right on top of your eyebrows. Sound cool? Yeah. Most of the time they're going to say yes. Turn towards me. And so what I do here, lean your head down. I do not want to use any degree of elevation. I don't want to pick it up because then that's going to create elevation. And so what that does is pull the hair from where it lies. Now, if I cut it right here, then it's going to fall down, and this hair is going to be shorter than this hair, and again, it's going to make it really wispy and thin. So I want to cut it exactly where it lies. So I want to pull this down almost on top of his forehead. And again, like I'm setting in my first guideline, but there's a peak here already. So I can kind of go and work with that. And like as you cut, you're going to create peaks. And literally just cut them off until they're round. So like you see how there's a peak there? And I'm rounding that out. And same thing. Now, a lot of people struggle with connecting the top into the sides. But you see how there's a peak here? Like if you can't see over there, you can walk over here too. I'll show you. But like if I comb this down, you'll kind of see it anyways. Like there's a peak right here. I don't want that. So I'm going to come here and I'm going to see, okay, well, there's a peak here. I'm going to round that out. Now I'm going to take that section that I had from the top when I was doing forward graduation, find where that starts to flow. And you see the disconnection? Like you see how this is disconnected from this? All I'm going to do is connect it. And you see how smooth that just sits in there? And then it's like, oh, now it's like, oh, there's a little bit of work here, come in here. But now you kind of see how that sits. And it's like, oh, his hair still looks a little bit long. But once I come through and I cut the other side, it's going to all sit about right here. And then once his hair dries up, it's going to shrink to about like right here. And he puts product in his hair, so I know his hair is going to shrink. Turn towards me. That's all it takes. Just ask your client to do what you need them to do to make it convenient for you. And don't feel bad about it. Like you can even move their head. So I'm going to sit here. And now I have a guide, dude. I have my guideline through here. I'm just going to match it. And I'm going to follow that directly. Now you see the difference here? Just gonna follow that directly across. I'm sorry that you guys can't see, but you guys gotta see the other way. Again, I'm gonna do the same thing. There's the disconnection. And now what you do to see, make sure if you guys got it all completely even, so what you do, you just comb it straight down. That looks pretty even to me, you tell me. You know what I'm saying? It keeps it pretty simple. And it's not rocket science. It's not rocket science. I'm not a rocket scientist, I'm just a barber. So it's like just understanding those little steps is what literally changes the game for cutting hair. Because that's the stuff I didn't know when I first started. You know what I'm saying? It's like, follow your guide. What's a guide, bro? Like, hold on. Because when I went into cutting hair, nobody taught me anything. I just said, I'm going to cut his hair. And I watched a couple videos, and I was like, bro, I'm going to be the next 360 Jeezy, baby. You know what I'm saying, bro? On me. I was like, okay, this is going to be cool. But now, I'm going to do the fun part. So with his hair specifically, since we're going to be fading in the beard and everything else, I'm going to do both. Like, I'm going to do both on one side at the same time. So he's going to want his beard. You still want that line to be straight? Yeah. Perfect. So he doesn't like his beard to curve. He wants it to be a bit straighter. I always add just a small curve, just a little bit, so I can fade it a little bit better. But the majority of this is just going to be straight across. So I know how that's how he wants it, so I'm going to fade that down. But I'm going to start the same way I started with Malik. I'm going to start with my trimmers. I'm going to set in my guidelines through the back to the front, and then I'm going to set in my other guideline by trimming this up and then going all the way through. The same exact way, because my system is the same. The details are just a little different. I'm going to come in here. And then you see how I went farther back down here than I did on him? Because he wants this to blend in a little bit more, which easy peasy. Just go a little bit farther back. And now I know that how far I want to fade down his beard is because I'm measuring it here. So like, okay, I'm seeing I'm using like the corner of his mustache to understand like where I'm setting these evenly. Like this, if you look directly here, that goes right to the corner of his mustache and right up. So it's perfect. I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to use this angle. And I'm going to go towards the corner of his mustache. And so a lot of people are like, bro, you don't even look at the other side before you use your lines. I don't need to if I use landmarks on their face. And again, that saves you time, you know? So it's like if you use landmarks on their face, and then you can go back and check. God forbid it's off a little bit. You just go back, check it, and you just put the line back in there. But once you get to doing it so much, it's like, I could probably do it with my eyes closed and I'm just, I already know. Try to not do that. You want me to try that? But super simple. I'm gonna do one side then the other side. I don't need to debulk as much here. But one thing I do like with his hair is how it kind of sits here. But I'm gonna go the same exact steps. I'm gonna go open guard, debulk, and then set in my fade. So I'm just kind of gonna run through this one. And then one thing I do a lot of is I use clipper over comb with guards. A lot of people don't do that, and I was kind of surprised that they don't because it's so handy because a lot of times when you're first starting, like I'm sure you guys have done clipper over comb on your doll head and you patched them. Like you did it and you're like, and then you have a notch in their hair and you're just like, dang, dude, how do I get that out? Like what's really simple is now I have this weight line that's right here. I just look at this and it's like super smooth now. And I'm not trying to take a whole bunch of weight off. I'm just trying to blend this. So it makes my life easier at the end. That's exactly what I do. It's just make my life as easy as possible. Now I see a little bit here. There's just a little corner. I'll just blend that out. And then the same thing. So clipper over comb here is going to be a little bit different than I normally do it because if you're trying to clipper over comb this the same way, you're going to create a line coming in here. So the biggest thing I do is I'll pull it vertically and I almost just like rake it just to do it like at a thinner and slower pace so I can kind of see where I want all that to sit. Because if I'm coming in here, I'm not trying to create a whole bunch of like harsh lines because this is my guide. And I just want to like trim that up. You see how that softened that up though? And I'm coming in here. And I'm not worried about my guard or clipper coming in and chopping it all off because I've set that guide in there already. It's super simple. Now I'm coming back in, same thing, open clipper. And now once we get into fading this up, I start with both. I'm gonna do the beard and this on the same side because I'm gonna use the same guards. So might as well make my life easy on me. So I'm gonna fade this in here. Start with that, do about like a 1/2 inch. And then I'm gonna close it up, close it up, close it up. And that's already done right there, that's faded out. Then it takes me another 2 seconds just to come in here, set up this line. And again, when I tell you these steps are damn near identical to what I did on the other one. They're literally identical. And then I'm gonna go with my one, closed, set in this next one. Like in all reality, in the shop, I could probably get his haircut and beard done in like probably 20 minutes. And not rush. Like it's just because like I've set everything up for myself. Now it's easy. Now the same thing here. It's like I got my one eye open because I don't want to leave a notch in there. And your beard's different because you're going against the haircut instead of going with this. So I'm going to rake almost more than I'm going to cut. And then I'm going to close it up to kind of fade down. And you see how that's kind of blending already? But then you see how there's heavy at the bottom? I don't want that, so I'm going to go with the grain here. I'm just going to follow this. And you see how that kind of blend that out? Yeah, bro. Then now I'm back to it, bro. Got that 1.5. I'm gonna do the same thing, but I'm gonna go in a little bit more abrasive because I know that it's gonna cut off less hair. And I want that because I want this to blend and fade better. And same thing, I'm gonna open it up. So I'm gonna take that line out of there. And now I can jump right back to the top. You almost like become a robot because you do the same thing so much over and over and over again, and it's just tweaking it a little bit for those minute changes. It's like I'm just becoming a robot now. It's like I really could do this with my eyes closed. I've switched, and like I get like sometimes you get to the point where you're like, bro, I've cut this dude's hair literally like 100 times, bro. And I'm like, what can I do to switch something up? So I'll use a completely different method, bro, like than I normally would do just to change it up. Just to like see like, okay, make it not as mundane and, you know, just repetitive. Because then it's like, okay, well, I've done this haircut 100 times. Let's see if this works. And I ain't telling them that at all. I'm not going to tell them. I'm just going to do it. Because it's like, God forbid something doesn't go the way that I think it should go. Just fall back onto the system you normally use. And it's like, okay, well, I know in this spot, this is what this does to get this out. And I know in this spot, this is what this does to get this out. So I'm just going to continue to fall back onto those steps. And that's what's going to help fade it out. You guys see how that's already coming together? And it's taking me like a fraction of the time because I don't have to worry about all this bulk anymore. It's already pretty much taken care of. It took me 2 seconds to go clipper over, comb it like 3 times. Now the only line I literally have left is that half guard line and then detail. And then the bottom line, but like I'm saying, like guard wise. And then same thing with here, the half guard line. Do you guys struggle with the bottom line the most? Or do you guys really know yet? The upper lines? You would normally knock that bottom line out pretty good. So like if you look at how I do all those, I'm always flicking out. I'm not digging in. So when you dig in, you're gonna create more lines than you need. Like when you saw that I did that, like those lines weren't like super abrasive lines. It was like they were pretty faint because I'm flicking out and I'm not trying to create more of a line than I need to. Because again, if you create harsher lines, it's gonna take you longer to get it out. But if you create pretty soft lines, you can still see them. You still know where you're working. You know what to work within. And it makes it so much easier just to get out at the end because I'm not sitting here digging at a half line for 30 minutes, half guard line. It takes me 2 seconds. I run my guard. I go a little bit of detail work while I'm doing that. It's like I dead ass killed 2 birds with 1 stone. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, okay, well, I'm detailing, I'm getting that line out, and I'm knocking this all out. Now I'm gonna do the other side at shop speed. This is pretty close to shop speed right here. Well, that look pretty crispy, eh? Look pretty clean. And then same thing, close. I'm gonna nudge it the exact same way I did the other one. Just nudge that bottom line. Use this corner around the round areas. I'm going back farther on that fade, so trying to make sure that all that looks clean. That bottom line's nudged. Open it up. It's not cutting off as much as I need it to. Keep nudging it. Then I'm literally gonna show you guys what it is to do one side. Like this, I'm gonna teach this side. And then y'all can pull out a timer and then see how long it takes me just to do the other side. If y'all wanna do that, we can do that. Just so we can get done, because it's almost 4:30, so. And you're gonna see, I'll still talk to y'all. I'm not gonna be rushing. It's just gonna get done a lot faster just because I don't have to teach it and I've done it 1,000 times. And it's gonna look just as clean. But see that line's damn near out. Now I just gotta work on this spot right here. Hey, there's a train, guys, if y'all didn't know. And then boom, bam, bop. Now it's the line work. And with him, pretty simple. Like I said, he keeps it straight. He wants the mustache to be curved around his lip. He doesn't want it to be taken completely off. And so what I do is I just check the jawline. Like you guys can see his bone structure here. Like I'll just follow that. It keeps it pretty simple. Like, cause you just, like I said, it's just a point of reference on each one of those. You just follow that jawline. Make sure everything looks good. Recomb it out. And so now it's like, okay, well, you got this excess hair. Just make sure everything like that's straight. That looks pretty clean to me. And now I want to sit here, and again, I'm going to use a reference point so I can make sure these are straight. I already see an indentation between his line, and so that means, okay, well, that means his line was probably about right here. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to go a little above that because I'm going to end up razoring it. So then I just come here. This is, again, just the rough draft. He wants that line to be straight, though, again. See, that's pretty straight. But again, I'm going to razor that, and then he has some light spots. So we want to make sure that those get dark, but I'm not going to be messing it up. I'm just going to be enhancing it, and I'm not covering up any mistakes. So now we come into the C-cup and the vertical bar. I'm going to do the same exact method that I did on Malik. Set in my guide right here. I'm just going to match it. Make it super simple, make it super easy. Don't make it too complicated. You know what I'm saying? And then I know that I want this lined up here. It's pretty crispy. Turn towards me. Then mustache, super simple. Comb it down. He has a couple longer links here. I'm gonna make sure that this blends good, so I'm just gonna rake this down. Blend that into that beard. Come over, line this up vertically here. Go over the top. Make sure that we line that up. And I want his mustache right on the top of that upper lip. And I'm not taking that too high. You see how like on both of them I'm not exposing their lip too much? Like you don't want that all the way up here, you know what I mean? Unless that's what they asked for. Like I had this dude ask, he wanted me to divide and conquer his mustache. I was like, okay, bro. So I did it. He wanted it. I said, okay. So yeah, bro, and straight razor that for me. I was like, all right. So I mean, if they ask for something crazy, just clarify and make sure that they know what they're getting themselves into. And if that's what they really want, go for it. And you see I'm using my comb to help me out here? Like I'm using this to hold the hair so I can cut the hair. And that helps me create shape and help kind of understand the trajectory that the hair is trying to grow. But like that's this side, and then we can get that other side knocked out pretty quick. Do someone want to time me? If you guys want to, go for it. Yeah, y'all let me know. Y'all can, what's up? Come on. If you guys, let me know. You can go whenever, but I guarantee like we could probably get it knocked out in less than 10 minutes. But
Don't fuck my shit up.
I'm gonna fuck it up on purpose. I'm gonna fuck it up on purpose. But no, you guys can ask me questions and everything that you want to now too. And let me know when to go, bro. Go. But nah, what are you guys kind of thinking so far about it? Yeah. Yeah. Everything I like to tell people is it is pretty simple. It's just we like to overcomplicate things for ourselves. Like especially as being new in something because you don't understand. So you always think it's a lot more complicated than it really is. Because once we understand what it takes to do something and we simplify it, it makes it so much easier, you know? Because it's like, bro, if you've done football or played football or done a sport or worked on a car, like the first time you do it, you're like, holy crap, like you almost get overwhelmed. But now it's like you've been doing it for so long, you understand what it takes to achieve that specific thing. And it's like almost like you have a kid ask, how do you do this? Bro, it's simple. Like, you know what I'm saying? But it's just because you decide to dedicate yourself to it, put the time in, put the hours in, and understand like what's possible, what you need to do, how you need to get there to achieve that, and what it takes to be consistent and stay disciplined in that. And again, I'm literally doing the same exact steps on this side that I did that side. If you guys do get in a shop, I would advise you to get one of these because you maybe see me turn around like 2 times just to get stuff at the end. And the slicker chest vest thing is freaking awesome because Saves me a lot of time. Well, some people had to reach around 3 times to do that right there. Yeah, whoever, Slicker, give me one of these damn sponsorships, man. I want to ask you guys, does it really look like I'm rushing this haircut? Or does it just look like I'm cutting hair? I'm just chilling. Because sometimes being slow, not slow, but methodical, and making it smooth is fast, yo. See that with John Wick. He ain't got to do it too fast. He just does it smooth. And damn, you just killed 16 dudes. How the hell you do that? Yeah. I don't know. I ain't trying to mess with you anytime. Don't kill his dog, brother. Don't kill another man's dog and you don't have to worry about running. What we at, brother? 3 minutes? Bad.
I thought it was longer than that.
Right, because you're not talking. Well, someone you talk the whole time, so it makes it quick for you, huh? Yeah. When you talk, it does make it go so much faster, though. Like when you're sitting there talking and having conversations, like I'll look up and I'll start at like 8 o'clock and then I'll turn around and look and next thing I know, it's like, damn, it's 8:30 at night already? Like, it's like I didn't even think about it. And then you guys tell me if this side's just as clean or it looks like trash. Trash. Breakfast. Y'all remember that? Good. What, you want some breakfast? I haven't heard that in a while. I just thought of it just now. That's how you know where my mind's at while I'm cutting hair. I ain't thinking about cutting hair. You get such in a rhythm, like you just forget. Like you just start thinking about whatever. I'm like, oh. Well, probably because I'm thinking about food. I'm a hungry man. Dude.
Someone's been growling ever since you started.
Cutting hair?
Yeah.
Because he knows what's up, bro. Dang. I was like, I know you're capping. I got a watch right here. He's capping, bro. What are we at? What, like 4.5, 5 minutes? Hell yeah. Turn towards me. Good boy. Got him. 4K too. Hey, I'm just messing with you. Lock in, bro. Lock in. I'm timed right now. Lock in. Stop laughing. It's not even that funny, bro. All right. That was my fault. I shouldn't have said that.
All right. You go.
All right. I'm going to do this now since you're freaking laughing at me. Yeah. Yeah, it was fun. It was a good time. It made it great because it's like when you surround yourself by dope people, it makes it more fun to want to go and just be there and hang out and just, you get to goof off and it just makes it a good time. And you still got to get your work done. Stevie'd always come up to me, Remy, what? No, I'm just joking. It was last time. I was like, she's like, I really was like, what do you need help with, bro? Like every time I knew it. But it was good. No, we did not do that. We didn't do that part. Look, like, what are you doing? It happens. Oh, my bad. You're like 22. I forgot. I'm fired, dude. Now I guess I gotta go back home. Where we at, brother? Come on, man. So let's say this. If we're done at 8 minutes, around 8 minutes, 16, give it about 3 minutes for the top. It's a 20-minute haircut. You know what I'm saying? I'm just doing detail work now. Make sure everything looks well. Really want this light. Make sure that everything looks good. A little bit of line on there though. But like I said, bro, what's the time? Yup. I mean, shoot, you tell me what y'all think. Pretty clean in 8 minutes? I'd say they look pretty good. You're ugly, bro. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it, bro. Don't worry about it. But yeah, no, like that's really all it is, bro. It's just staying true to your systems, understanding where you're at and what you need to do to obtain that outlook and the outcome that you guys want. And it's pretty much that. Now we just get to do like all the accessory work. We get to clean it up. We get to add enhancements. I'm going to make this V on the back because, again, his V is really easy. I just retrace what I already did. So, lay down for me. What'd you say? Oh, yeah, I'm going to do your designs too. I forgot about that. But his designs take 2 seconds. They're not like super crazy. He wants like those little dashes, like I said. And then he wants a cross on this side. Hell no, we ain't doing designs on you, why? You think you paying for this or something, man? $1,000, take it or leave it. Right now. All right. So he wants, like, you guys see those little dashes and stuff, like the little, yeah. You saw what that was kind of there before? Same thing. I literally just put my thing down and then I just turn it. Super simple. And then if I want this to be a little bit sharper, you just go in and just, Good. And then now, if you want it to come back a little bit more. Ooh, she's hating. The light's hating on us. I'll wait. Clean this up. Sheesh. Did it just die? Happens. And then, like this one's right here. And then I'm going to come up a little bit higher on this one. And then I want it to be right about here. And you kind of see that? And just make it look pretty clean. Not too hard. Not too difficult. Pretty simple. And then now, he wants a cross on this side. So for the cross, I just want to make sure that the placement's right. And make sure that we can get it straight. So like what I really do, like if you want to keep it pretty steady, like use like 3 anchor points, bro. You ain't gonna shake nowhere. And then even if you're doing a curve, you can use that to help you and guide you. So you got your thumb, you got this here. You can just straight up place it. You can come here like this and place it. Like there's different options. But it's really whatever is comfortable for you. So a lot of times I do this. And I'm just placing it, finding where I want it, and then making it official, like a ref with a whistle, my boy. And I don't want it to be too fat. Just want it to look pretty clean and sleek. And then now I just use the corner, bink, bink, and bink a little bit wider, bink. I don't know, y'all tell me, does that look pretty clean? Boom. And then they're in there. And then something that I always do with my designs, do you guys have like a place to put your guys' blades at? Oh, found them. Yep, sharps containers. Right here. Right here. Can I use this one? No, that's what I'm saying. I'm the first. See if there's anything in there. Take it off, take it off. But now it's just razor and everything. Like, what do you guys use? Do you guys use shave gel, like when you do designs, or what do you guys use? You shave gel? Yeah. What do you use? Shave gel, or what do you use? Oh, dang, dude. No lube, dude. Raw. Unprotected. Crazy. One thing I can tell you too, because I use shave gel at first, but like, you know how it kind of gunks up, like a lot when you're trying to use it. And then if you do it raw, bruh, you know how it can get irritated? There's not enough lubrication. See, the biggest thing is you just got to find the perfect fit, you know? And I'm not talking about nothing weird, you know what I'm saying? I just use water. Keep it simple. Like, water-based is always the best. Okay, I'm glad some of y'all got that. But so I literally will just use water. And then I'll spray it. Because it gives it enough lubrication where it still's going to glide. It's not going to create irritation. But it also is going to not gunk it up like when you use like a shave gel. Because I obviously have the shave gel. But I was going to use that if I use a hot towel. Because I'll put it on there before I put the hot towel on. And then what I'll do is I'll just go back, wipe that off, and razor because it gives a thin layer as well. So it still gets that pretty smooth and silky. But it's not going to gunk up as much. But right now, like I'll literally just come in here, use that. And it makes it real easy for my blade to glide. But also, it doesn't make it too hard. It makes it pretty simple. And it still pops, and it's not creating any irritation if you do it raw. I like that guy. But you see how that just kind of cleaned it up. It was nothing too crazy. But I always wait to kind of razor that until I put the enhancements on there. So I'm going to do that right now. Just enhance this boy up. Both sides. Clip them up, clip them up. Beep, 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 boop. What's your guys' favorite movies, bro? Y'all got good movies? Y'all got good movie taste? Fight Club? That's a good one. You don't know? Y'all don't watch movies? Y'all watch like anime and stuff? You're an asshole.
Fucking weird.
He's an asshole, bro. All right, whatever. Whatever. We can fight for real. I'm a hugger though, but you'll probably win.
What's your favorite movie?
50 Shades of Grey. No, I'm just joking. 365 Days, wrong movie. No, I'm just joking. None of those.
Magic Mike.
Yeah, Magic. No, I did watch that a few too many times. I thought about doing, you know. Everybody. I thought about doing it. I was actually talking about that with my girlfriend the other day. I asked her, I was like, if I was a male stripper, would you be cool with that? Hell no was the answer. But I said, what if like we were like millionaires? And she's like, hell no. Still the answer. She's like, we will be anyways. It's like, that's a good mindset. I was like, but fine, whatever. There go my hopes, dreams, and aspirations. I was going to throw barbering in the toilet, but it's cool. Nah, so I'm just staying light, pretty light here. I'm just kind of following this up. Yeah, but if you guys know any spots that open up, you know, give me a call. I'm just joking. But see how that just kind of makes it look quite a bit more full, looks a bit more natural, and it's not like super, super dark, but I'm just gonna come back in. And I want this back line to look just as sharp as the other one. So I'm just gonna kind of put that in there right here. Pause. And now, especially with beards, you got the beard line right here that's gonna be pretty dark. I don't want it to be that dark. I want it to look more natural. So I'm gonna come in and I'm gonna brush that. You see how that took most of that away? So it doesn't look super like over the top and it's just a lot. So once you come and brush that away, that looks good. That looks great. You're brushing that in. He put beard oil in his beard, by the way. I did notice that ASAP as soon as I started cutting his hair. But that's also really good. But sometimes like it'll take out or add too much oil, so it might not stick. But I know that this stuff's all going to be water resistant. I kind of brushed it down before I checked, and that's not going nowhere anymore. And so what you do to fully lock that in is you can just come in with the hold spray, just a little bit. And it's going to be the same exact situation. I'm going to let that dry while I do the other side instead of just like use my blow dryer. But it'll take about the same time, and then you come back in. I'm going to do the exact same thing on this side. Okay, pretty simple. And then I have a question for you guys. You guys don't have to stay. It doesn't bother me because it's 26 right now. If you guys want me to, we can go over the social media PowerPoint, or if you guys got to go home, you can. It's really up to you guys. I don't care. If you guys want to stay, I'm more than willing to stay here with you guys. But if you guys want to get out of here, it doesn't hurt my feelings. Y'all can get out of here. I'm down to stay. Bet that, bro. Because I'm done with this. I'm just going to style this up and then straight razor it, like I said, and then we can get to the PowerPoint because I think cutting hair is great, but you can't cut hair if you have nobody in your chair. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, it'll definitely help if you guys sit here and listen. Yeah, bro, I'm helping you out, bro. And same thing, bro, just brush it through. Kind of just did this one pretty quick, but brush it through so it doesn't look as unnatural. Like with his, I don't want to keep it super, super dark. With his, I want it to be as dark as possible, so I'm not going to brush it out as much. Because I want his to just look like, damn, that shit just looks sharp. It don't even look like you putting none on there. Like, if you walked up to him, you probably couldn't tell that he has that much, like, any really enhancements on his beard. You're just like, oh, that line looks pretty clean. And it's like, you guys saw how, like, it was really light at the top before. And versus now, it's just those little details. And now, well, I'm going to lay you back so I can get under your neck. Oh, really? You can lay your head back, boss.
Is that good?
There you go. That's perfect. I'm gonna do your head here first. So then, really, with this, like I dry shave a lot, just like at the end to make sure that everything's clean. I don't want to use water on this because I'm not using that much, and I'm just lining this up. Just make that look a lot sharper, a lot cleaner. And then one thing, if you get good at dry shaving, what's up? Oh.
Clock out at regular time and then clock in the bar makeup if you want to make it better. Okay, I'll shut up then, sorry.
Yeah, go knock that out, boy. You clocking out and clocking in, or you running away? Oh, it don't work? Oh, that's annoying. I don't care what you do, bro. You do it. I'm not your daddy, bro. You do what you want. I'm not your teacher, technically. Like I said, bro, we be more homies than anything. What's his name again? Omri? Almost like Henri, bro. Damn, right there. Huh? Someone talking trash or something? It wasn't me, I promise. It's this other black dude.
The one in the sweater over there.
Yeah, it was him. Not to point fingers or anything. That's funny. Sheesh. Did we put a slit in your eyebrow the last time?
Hell no.
We should do it.
Fuck.
Excuse your language, you potty mouth.
I thought about it, remember?
Oh, that's right.
But I never did.
Yeah, you guys can run to the bathroom. I'm literally just cleaning this up if you guys want to. And then we can get into the PowerPoint. The PowerPoint should probably take like 30 minutes. I only have a couple of slides on there. 9 slides.
You want to try it?
No, I'm going to. But these guys are locked in, so they're going to get to see me style it. The other people will forget. Hang on to. I'm just joking. I'll tell them. What do you guys feel like so far has been the biggest like help to you guys? Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah, that's what Stevie was telling me. So you guys really don't know yet a whole lot about like the fading techniques and like all that stuff.
Everybody does it different. So
Oh yeah.
I kind of like the way that Stevie's teaching it.
Oh yeah.
She's done it, like, not dumbing it down, but like breaking it down real nice for us.
Yeah, she's good. Like that's one thing I can tell you. Like even sometimes like we'll have like you have a barber instructor. So you guys probably don't because you have one. But, like sometimes you'll have a barber instructor that will like tell you one thing, and like you see them cut and you're just like, I ain't gonna listen to you. Like you know what I'm saying? Like that sounds bad, but it's the case because when I went to barber school, like I wasn't the only one. Like I've been cutting for 2.5 years before I went to barber school. Like so I'm like I've done this before, dog. Like. I'm not saying I know everything, but I'm like, I can cut hair better than you already. Like, so it's kind of hard for me to like be like, oh my goodness. Like, I'll listen to what they have to say, but like really taking it in. Stevie's actually really good. So you don't have to worry about like, damn, does she know what she's talking about? You already know she knows because you see what she's doing. You know what I'm saying? And then I'm going to sit you up, bro. Just freaking. But. Yeah, no, so that's also the really, really good thing about her is that she actually knows what she's doing. She knows how to explain it, and she's very good at that. That's why she's here. What's up?
Were you all in the same class?
Yeah. Well, she was in the transfer program, and I was in the, like, just in the regular barber program. She graduated a little bit before me, but we were still pretty close. Nah, Mitch was in a grade, I guess a class or two before me, yeah. So right now, hey, I'm going to style his hair if y'all want to come back and check it out. Or y'all can chill over there, no matter. Because y'all got cleaned up, huh? So I'm doing this kind of the same way. I'm getting this all wet first. And then I'm going to use 3 products. Well, yeah, 3 products. So I use water. I won't count that as a product. Then this is like grooming spray, pretty much sea salt spray. And then I'm just going in, I'm just going to spray that up. And then what I use is a matte paste. So the reason that I use this matte paste while it's wet is because what it actually does, it gets down into the roots of the hair and it gets down into the actual scalp and right on there, so it creates more lift and it is emulsifying a bit better with the hair, so it becomes more pliable, it works with you more, and also just makes it easier at the end because it doesn't feel super crunchy. But that's what the texture powder is for. And that's what I kind of top off with. So I'm just coming in here and I'm just working this all in the hair. Just making sure that all this is flowing, all this is working, all this is going exactly how it's supposed to go. That's pretty worked in there. Then you see how his hair already has that texture in it, and I haven't really done too much to it yet. Yeah, he's probably not going to let me cut the top of his hair for like a year, bro. I'm just joking. What? And then how I used the diffuser the last time is I just kind of put it by the hair. I didn't put it really on the hair. I didn't really try and get in the hair. I just kind of put it by the hair so the curls would do the shrinking. With his hair, I want to lift it off the scalp and create as much volume as I can. So I'm going to sit here and I'm just going to go in circles. And I'm going to lift his hair up. And the way you spin is the way that the hair is kind of going to sit. But so if I want this hair to go in, I'm going to spin it inward so it spins in. And then in the back, it doesn't matter as much because I just kind of want it to go everywhere. With this side, I kind of want it to go in. Now I tell my clients, if it gets too hot, just start screaming out.
That was good.
Oh, there goes that. And you guys see how much texture is already in there and how much volume? That's all you really need. But a lot of people like that texture powder, and he does too. So that's when I go in and I throw that extra in there. And then like, look at that back, look at the sides, look at how all that's kind of going. And that's just kind of, again, like the rough draft. Because I put all that in there, and then I finish it off every time with just the texture powder. I always like to tell people it's the hair cocaine because it makes it go crazy. Yep, see that? I know what you were doing last night at the party. All that texture, and then you can even come in here and see kind of how I cut it, because now you have these peaks, you have the differentiation in between links, you have the different things that are going to set up the foundation for your next cut, because it's like, okay, well, I did all these steps, I took advantage of all those things to make my life easy on me. Now everything blends together, it's smooth, and everything just kind of sits how you want it to sit. And the reason I want to keep the bangs a little bit heavier is because now it's like, once you do this, it'll look even wispier if I cut it like a different way. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, that's damn near the final product there. I'm gonna just clean up his neck, get him gone. What you guys think, bro? Pretty tough? Boom, bam, bop, bada, bop, boom, pow. Woo! Got that thing done. Yes, sir. You feel good now? He's like, bro, I'm done, bro.